Hey friends, it's me, the Ebony Otaku, the well-rounded nerd with the sun right in my eyeballs. Still. Anywho, so I want to attempt to finish my Lord of the Rings deck today here at Boulder. Um, yeah, it's been a while since I've worked on this because I was working towards my 3,000 points of Warhammer. My goal with all of my tabletop games was to get is to get a set of each of the major games we played done. So I've got 3K points in Emperor's Children for Horus Heresy done. I want to get my zombies painted for Dead Zone, and I've got to get some ships painted for Drop Zone, and then I've got my gnomes to paint. And then after that, I can paint at my leisure. The other half of my Warhammer box is going to be salamanders. And I've got some ultramarines that will be an allied attachment for them. And then I have like my Imperialis back here, which is its own special thing. So it kind of, because I was trying to work toward my 3,000 points for a tournament, it kind of put other projects on the back burner. But now I really want to dive back into working on my Lord of the Rings deck, because I've never built a Magic the Gathering deck. For the uninitiated, while I open this really interesting boulder. Oh yeah, I forgot about those. There's a whole bunch of, what are they called? The little stand-in cards that don't really count. But proxies. There's a whole bunch of proxies. I got the boulder and these sleeves that I didn't know were in the boulder at a swap day. Haggle day, that's what it was called, at High Ground Hobbies. And it's just, a local hobby shop that we go to. But when I bought the boulder, it had these sleeves in it. And I did not know that until I opened it. And then I opened it and I saw all this business in there. And I was like, why would somebody leave their cards in a box that they're selling? And that's how I learned about proxies. So for the uninitiated, Magic the Gathering is a tabletop card game. There are so many. The Lorcana is another popular one that's out there, but it's basically card battling. When I grew up, Magic the Gathering was popular, but amongst my kid friend group, especially, since I was a private school kid, we were more Pokemon, Digimon kids. That was kind of the big thing. And oh god, I grew up in the age of Pogs. Do y'all remember Pogs? What even were those? Like, it became so big, like the fidget spinners, just like a toy that didn't make sense for it to be as popular as it was. But anyway, that's the era I grew up in. So Pokemon, Digimon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! But it's those were the major card games. Magic was always going on. To my understanding, didn't Magic the Gathering start like in the 70s, 60s or 70s? I think. I don't think it started in the 80s. I think it was the 60s or 70s when Magic the Gathering was created. And there's some cards apparently that the creator made that only like him and his wife have. Like, you can see a picture of them, but like they've never released them to the public. But it's basically, you follow the instructions on your cards. They have different abilities, and you shuffle your deck and you draw your initial hand, and then it's a matter of strategy against the other players and what their decks can do. There are several colors of mana that you can have, and that mana lets you summon different cards based on how much mana it costs and what color that mana is. It's red, green, white, blue, and black. Those are the colors. And so a card might cost you 1 blue and 1 red. I'm just pulling them out of a hat. I don't know if that's a real combination. I'm a magic novice. So you have to make sure that you have pulled out enough mana in your deck in order to do that. So, and you just do what the cards say. The thing that gets difficult is powers and abilities can stack on top of each other and result in these huge bombastic events happening. Like, an example would be a deck called Dogmeat. It's one of the Fallout decks. It has a card, which is its commander, its lead card, that if you end up putting a whole bunch of stuff in your graveyard, which you have cards in your deck that will let you just keep milling cards, which means draw and throw them in the graveyard. there comes a point where you can pull a card that says, bring everything out of your graveyard. You can basically attack with it now. That's the short version. So if you end up with 30 cards in the graveyard, you can wipe everybody out, if you draw that one card. But again, it's luck of the draw because you shuffle. So it can be very competitive. My understanding is that, everywhere the community for different games is different. Let's take a sip of my fancy coffee. Oh, so good. Nectar of the gods. Here where I live, there are a few Magic communities. There is one shop in town that I will not name, where you don't go there unless you want to play a cutthroat throwdown. I spent $1,000 on this deck game. Like, that's what they do there. There are a couple of shops that do casual gaming, which would be for someone like me I am not ever trying to do a Magic competition. I will play for fun. I have yet to play a game of Magic outside of my house. Or my in-laws' house, because you Magic people can sometimes be extra. But I might play at Adepticon. Actually, I've signed up to do the casual Magic event, so that's not a tournament. So we'll see what happens. I'll probably bring a pre-con to that, though. Probably not my built deck, because there's no way my built deck is going to be anything worth writing home about. And you got to find the environment filled with people that you want to game with. That's my only advice. So I have a card log here where I started sorting out the cards that I might want to put in this deck. I've decided it's going to be a green-blue deck. And I'm specifically building a Commander deck, which is 100 cards. And I only recently found out, don't laugh at me. You can laugh. I'm giving you information you can laugh at. That in Commander, the whole point of playing Commander is that, like, if your Commander gets graveyarded, you can pay mana to bring it back. I just found that out like 2 months ago. I also just found out that I can incorporate cards from other decks as long as I'm matching the mana. My stepson gave me this card. It's a legendary land called Iganjo, Seed of the Empire. For 2, I can discard this card and deal 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. So if I had like 5 legendary creatures out, I basically wouldn't have to pay to cast this card and then throw 4 points of damage at somebody else. But here, isn't it beautiful? You gotta love the artwork. The artwork is half the don't look at my nails. I know they're horrid right now. The artwork is half the joy of this. So I believe that I was piling. I've got Bloomburrow and Lord of the Rings that I was working on, but I'm not doing the Bloomburrow deck yet. I'm focusing on my Lord of the Rings deck. I've got so many cards now. So many. Okay, this is... Nope. I don't think these are the cards I wanted to use. I'd separated out the cards I want to use from cards I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use. So these are black. I'm not using black. I'm using green and blue. Black, black, black. All right, here's another card separator. Oh, I think these are all Bloomburrow. So I have a card catalog box here that my family so generously gave me. Wolf Rider, Human Creature Knight. Are these them? Lands. Shire Scarecrow. Okay, these might be some of the cards. Yeah, these are the cards I was thinking of using. I have them separated by a Magic the Gathering art card. All right, and all that is Bloomburrow over there. Yes? This is all Bloomburrow? Yeah. So I don't want to mix the Bloomburrow cards up. Now, granted, if I had some green and blue Bloomburrow cards, I could do something fancy. I could stick them in this deck if the mana count matches color. You can tell this is where I'm a total amateur. I can tell you anything you want to know about Warhammer, Lord of the Rings. I got you. What do you want to know? I know why the Eagles couldn't carry the ring to Mordor. Do you know why the Eagles couldn't carry the ring to Mordor? I've read the Silmarillion twice. So, yeah, I've got lore that I can go way deep into. I think the block for me in getting into Magic was that there wasn't a bunch of lore. The game itself is just a game. And, I mean, I'm in Matt Pat's generation. I like the lore. I like a story. See, these are art cards that we use as separators. There are actual separators, but why not use the art cards? Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, wait, I don't think these are them. Inherent. Nope. Brandywine Farmer. Where did I put? I can't figure it out. So when it came to wanting to get into Magic the Gathering, it was a little more difficult for me because I was just like, it's not about anything. Like Warhammer, there's an empire, there's a story, there are things going on. Okay, I think I found my cards. Yeah, these are them. But in Magic, unless you're playing, one of these decks that they've partnered with a property to be able to, you use their what's it called? Their IP. There's no connected story, and I think that's why it didn't stick with me when I was a teenager. I had friends who played Magic the Gathering, and I tried to get into it. It wasn't for me. I did try. I tried, but I just wasn't. I was not getting it. What can I say? And I feel kind of bad that I wasn't getting it because I knew they wanted me to. Ooh. Put target creature into the zone library second from top. Ooh, nice. And keep that. I'll show you the cards in just a second. But what got me into playing Magic again was the Warhammer decks. I'm a Warhammer girly. I love Warhammer. So stinking much. And when I saw that there were cards that were familiar to me, even though you're not telling a story in Magic the Gathering, because there was that familiarity of property, that did it. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay, I think these are them. I'm searching for the card. I had separated out a bunch of cards that could be for this deck, and then I hadn't touched it in a while. You know what happened? I laid this box on its side instead of flat, and it looks like some of the cards got mixed up with cards I was not going to use. Yeah, because like here's a red card, tokens that I wasn't going to use. Yeah, okay. I'm going to talk and separate these out. But when I saw that I could use a property that I recognized, I was like, okay. Snarling Warg, we're definitely not using that. Banished from Edoras. Ooh, I can exile a creature with that one? Yeah, we're keeping you. That's a great card. Nope, you're black. But being able to play the game with a property that I like already, that got me into it. I was like, okay, all right. The first deck that I ended up owning post high school was the one that my husband and his son got me during our first Christmas together. They got me the Inquisitor Greyfax deck, which I played with it last weekend and beat everybody. They've made me good at Magic now. They shouldn't have done that. I know what I'm doing now. Sort of. But when I first played, I was just happy to be playing with Inquisitor Greyfax. I wasn't really playing to win. I was just happy. I was just happy to have Greyfax. Let me just be very clear. And I did okay, but I didn't understand the mechanics of that deck. That deck, in the way that it's built, is designed for you to keep making token copies, which means basically clones of a card, and then build up the beefiness of those cards to give yourself a bunch of points really fast, hit points. So it's harder to kill your creatures, and your creatures can hit harder when they attack. And a lot of the creatures, when you summon them and bring them out into the battlefield, they do stuff for your other creatures. You summon one card and it says, oh, if you control 3 types of this card, we'll add a +2/+2 to everything. And it's just like, oh, wow. Or there was one combo that was really great. I pulled out this card that said my commander was basically indestructible. And then he was like a 3/4 on his own. So he was attack power 3 and toughness of 4. So he was hard to kill with smaller creatures. And he kept my Inquisitor, my commander, from being destroyed. So yeah, that was great. Okay, these are all... There are a few... Yeah, these got mixed up when I laid the box on its side. No big deal. I will put these in the log this time. This is what happens when you don't deal with something for a while, is it gets mixed up, because I thought I was just going to sit down here and go through cards, and then it turned out to be a whole thing. Why am I leaving this in here when it's going to take me a little while to get to the deck building? To show you what it can be like. I think that sometime is missing from content like this is, you know, everything's so heavily curated now that if you're really getting into hobbies and stuff like that, you're not getting a realistic picture always of what it takes. Like, that's why I don't do a bunch of editing to like my painting videos for Warhammer. So you can see what it takes to paint and build an army. It's a little bit of work. What can I say? But you know, that work has a reward that comes with it. And if you want that reward, you have to do the work. There's no other way. I'm pulling out all my green. I haven't decided I'm going to do white yet, but I think this is going to be a green-blue deck. But I'm pulling out some of the white cards just in case. But I'm leaning towards green and blue. Woodland Pathfinder, yeah, I want you. I'm going to go through the cards here in just a second. But because I didn't store these in a way to keep them from getting mixed up, I made it harder on myself on this end. But that's just how it is. I could do super curated, highly edited videos. I know how to video edit. I don't want to. Just being real. I wanna. Ooh, Great Hall of the Citadel. Add to spending. Oh, yes, you. Oh, yep, these are elves. I definitely wanted them. I'm really trying to go for elves and trees. Elves and ints, basically, in this deck. But having a deck that's Lord of the Rings, I love the universe that Tolkien built. I am such a Lord of the Rings nerd. Like you know how them Star Trek people be learning what's it called? Klingon? Yeah, it's that bad. With me. It's that bad. I am so into it. All right, what are these colors? Last stack that I'm going to mill through. Boy, I really flooped the pig in putting this away. I did such a good job. Not. Okay, these are definitely ones that I was looking at. Yep. I'm going to hold on to the cards that are white just in case. I haven't decided. Oh my god, I got a bunch of these human shamans. Why are there so many of her? Add a mana of any color. I can pay 6. Another target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample. Oh. Oh, dang. That's... Wow. She's kind of great. I have like 5 of her. Okay, these are all in the color scheme that I'm looking at. So even though I'm not playing a story, these are familiar to me. And I know that it... Ooh, Tree Folk. Ooh, it's a full art card too. You'll see it in a second. So even though I'm not playing a story in Magic, I get to play the game with creatures that are familiar to me. And I like that. I appreciate that Magic the Gathering did that. That when they put out Bloomburrow, which is like the cutesy deck, that shop was full of women that day. I was not part of the Bloomburrow launch. I was there to play Warhammer that day. The Bloomburrow launch. They got the girls out the house that day. Good job, Magic. I see what you did. I'm not hating you for it. I'm applauding you. That is how marketing works. Last set of blue cards. And then I can start putting some order to this mess. This is going to be a longer video than I thought it would, but that's fine. All right, so I am done with this box of just cards I mixed up. When I say I laid it on its side, it's a clear box. I stored it like this. So the cards got mixed up. Yeah, laugh at me, throw tomatoes, it's fine. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to separate real quickly into their colors, blue, green, and white. And I'm just going to go through the cards and we're going to look at them and see if, and colorless, and see what we like. So blue, green. Since I can video edit, one thing I might start doing, if I build another magic deck on my channel, might be to do a split screen where you can watch me shuffle and see this at the same time. So I've got my top down camera, and do that. If you'd like to see that, let me know, because I know that a lot of creators do that. You know, if you're starting a YouTube channel, you can't not spend money, but don't overspend on stuff. Like I haven't clicked the monetization button yet on my channel for reasons. I'm going to, but I just have to make sure of a couple things before I decide to do that. These are food tokens and orc tokens. And then I'll turn it on because I still want to keep my word and do contests. I said once the channel was making some money, I would do that. But just, you know, when you're starting out, does it take effort and a little bit of money? Yeah, it does. But you don't have to spend every cent you have. Okay. We live in the world of phones take great videos now. So yeah, take advantage of that. I'm separating out my lands. I have a bunch of lands here. The commander deck is 100 cards. So yeah, it's a lot of land. I'm thinking 30. I think 30 land is usually standard, 70 play cards, and then like 30 land. So that combo seems to have worked for me. So I'm going to stick with it. And if I need to adjust, I will. That's the thing about decks you build yourself, is you can make adjustments. But yeah, when you're getting stuff together to do your channel, don't feel like you've got to like go into a bunch of debt or something, because you don't. All you have to do is, you know, start. Just start somewhere. And then, you know, be consistent. When I first started my YouTube channel, I'll be honest, I wasn't very consistent about it. You know, I mean, for lack of a better word, I just, you know, it was just it's just something fun that I did. So, you know, I would put up videos once in a while. I wasn't really on a schedule of when I was going to put up videos. I didn't really know what kind of content I wanted to do. So I was doing a little bit of everything, and I still kind of do a little bit of everything. I do what I like. Let's say that I do what I like, but you know, play around with it. It's social media. We all have it now. Everybody gets to have, you know, a voice and a creative outlet. Decide what you want to do with your creative outlet. And then do that. Surrounded by orcs. Interesting. Should I put orcs and... I'll show you the cards in a second. I say that, but this might end up being a two-part video. We'll see how long this gets. I'll go over here. It's getting long. So, I mean, my phone was the first way I was filming videos, obviously. For just about everybody, that's how it starts out. I did end up getting an actual video camera, which now is my dedicated top-down camera over in the painting area of the house. That camera, I spent like $40 on it, like 4 years ago. I'm looking at a different camera. I haven't decided I'm going to get it yet. I already had a laptop, so I was filming with that. You know, but my laptop is a Windows Surface. It wasn't really designed for this. It was designed for what I needed a computer for, but it wasn't designed for heavy video editing. So I will be getting a new laptop here. I've been talking about that for a long time. It just has not been a priority for me. But now it kind of is. So in about 5 weeks, I'll be purchasing the new laptop. I know it probably seems like we'd be spending money all the time. We don't. We budget. And the budget for that is in a little bit, not right now. Put the white cards over here. I'm just now getting to some whites. Once in a while, I'm still pulling black cards out and then just setting them to the side. I don't think this is going to be a white deck, but we'll see. We'll see. I really like the elves and imps together so far. Now it's all upside down. Yep, these don't go. Urkai. Oh, there's a lot of Great Hall of the Citadel. Ooh, add 2 mana of any color. Ooh, we like you. Yep. So these are all black and red cards, so I'm not going to use them. Put them in the box. What's in the box? I could probably build a black and red deck out of this. You know, so the arm that I got for my camera, it was like $14. It was not expensive. Because when I first got the camera, the reason I didn't use it was I thought I had gotten like a camera stand and stuff that would work for it, and I didn't. And then I got annoyed and just didn't use it. So, and then I finally got that mounting arm with my fingers crossed that was going to be the right thing, and it was. So, I'm the kind of person, if something makes me mad, I just don't use it. It's my toxic trait. But I figured it out, so now all is well. And a plane. Almost there. Oh my god. Do y'all know how many cards this is? It is so many cards. I should have sorted this before filming the video. Someone's going to be very annoyed with me. And to you I say, thank you for making it this far and feeding the algorithm. Hey, this is how it works, all right? This is the reality of taking on a hobby that you're not familiar with. As familiar with as others, because it just, you know, there's got to be a starting point, right? I feel like I had separated out what I wanted for my commanders too, and now all that's just shot to pieces. All right, tree folk, because I did not store this stuff as well as I should have. Where was I stacking my tokens? You know, we'll just stick that over there. So when you start building your decks, if you decide you want to do that, I'm gonna need you to store your cards in a way that they don't all get mixed up. And when you try to actually go and build your deck, you shoot yourself in the foot, because we're already almost at half an hour. And this is going to end up being a oops, I messed up my deck, but I sorted it out. So this will be a part, I guess in this little series, it'll be part 5, I think. In the next video, we'll actually build the deck. I'm very long-winded and I can talk for 6 hours straight. That is just the result of being theater major, corporate trainer, and a very gregarious person. I can talk for days. Doesn't bother me. I'm actually next week going on a trip for work. Remember, I don't film in real time, so by the time y'all see this, that trip would have happened. For work, I'm going to go up to one of our really cool buildings and do some facilitation for one of the teams that I support. And that's going to be really cool because I really love it when I get to go to that building. Oh my god. I'm just sorting cards and talking. This is not what I intended this video to be. It isn't. But we live, we learn. But as you enter hobbies, and especially two sides to this. So, oh, that's a land. It's a beautiful land. We're just going to stick it in here. Add 1 to your mana pool of any color. Love it. Beautiful land. I'll show you some of these cards in a second. I'm just separating them out. Soul Ring. This is it's an old card. I think this came in that box. It says 2022. So that's only a couple of years. But yeah, it doesn't look like any of the other cards that I have. Interesting. Interesting. But yeah, anywho, back to this. Ooh, not you. That's a land. I guess these lands go here. I don't know. You know, 2 sides. One, if you're just starting out in a hobby, whether it's Magic, I just dropped a bunch of greens on the floor. At least I know they're all green. Whether it's Magic, Warhammer, watching anime, whatever it is, just go ahead and decide that you are going to give yourself grace in the learning period. Because there's a learning curve to every new thing you want to do. I recently did a video on learning to dance with my husband. I'm not a dancer. It's not a skill that I ever valued growing up. I didn't take dance classes or anything like that. So it's just not something I ever learned to do or ever took a value in. But now that I'm doing it and I've gotten better at it, I really enjoy it. But I had to give myself enough time to learn to do it, basically. Give yourself enough time to actually invest in the hobby and, work to find good people to do the hobby with. So these are useless. All right, oh, wait, there's one more stack over here. Holy cow. What have I done? I thought I had, these are I think these are the ones I thought were going to be my, what are they called? My commanders. Yeah, we'll put you over here. So these are all greens. Cool. These are all white. Give yourself grace in the learning. It takes time to learn something new. It just does. But find good people to game with. If the vibes aren't there, the vibes aren't there. That's no problem. Everywhere's not going to be vibes. Sometimes you're going to show up and the group has an established dynamic and there's nothing you can do to interfere with that dynamic. That's okay. Do not force yourself to be somewhere where you aren't welcome. The flip side of that is if we want more people to do our hobbies and feel welcome into our hobbies, we have to create the environment. I always approach things from a perspective of, if it was my first time here, what would I want it to be like? I do that with martial arts very much. Starting martial arts can be very intimidating for people, especially if you walk into a school that has a lot of seasoned black belts, which our school did, but a lot of us have moved and, gone on. I mean, I got married and moved. I still go back, but, a lot of them aren't close enough. We've had folks move to Florida, North Carolina, just too far away to be involved anymore. They've started new lives. But there was a time you came to our school, there's 40 black belts in there and all of them are excellent. And it can be very intimidating, but they always created an environment of, we want you here. We get to do this because more people do this. Be that. When people come to our school, and even if they come from another school, I'm never like, oh, well, everything you learned is incorrect. We're not going to teach you the right way. It's, oh my goodness. So you have some experience. Well, let's see what we can do to bring your experience into what we do. I'm glad you're here. I want you to be here. And creating that welcoming environment makes people want to be a part of your hobby. And then you create a group of people that are more than just hobbyists together. You might potentially end up being friends. That's happened with Warhammer for us. It started out as just, my husband wanted to learn to play Aeronautica. And now these are some of the coolest people I've ever met. Every Wednesday night it's one of my favorite nights of the week because we go to one of the shops and we do work in progress Wednesday and we sit and we laugh and we talk and we hang out with cool people and we look at each other's projects and we work on projects and it's just a good time. That's all it is. It's just a good time. I love work in progress Wednesday. Any of y'all are watching? Y'all are great. And the other shop that we go to, my husband plays Blood Bowl out there a lot of times. I'll go and sit and take over a painting station. He plays Blood Bowl. I paint. I use the airbrushing. They've got really good artists at that shop, so they'll give me tips on how to do stuff. It's good. Magic the Gathering. I mean, some of y'all gonna get in these comments about this video and be like, this wasn't a magic video. Well, it was supposed to be. But I didn't realize how many mistakes I had made in the storing of my cards. Now I have. But let me give you an idea of some of what I'm looking at here. So with legendary creatures that I'm looking at, here is basically Gandalf, Friend of the Shire. He has Flash. You may cast sorcery spells as those they have Flash. So if I put him down, every other sorcery I have has Flash, which means I can cast it right away. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, as your ring bearer, draw a card. Look at that. It's just Gandalf. And I love it. Bilbo Baggins! He's so great. Here's another legendary creature. These legendary creatures aren't super powerful, but they have really cool abilities. Untap. This one is Ireth of the Healing House. Untap another target permanent. Untap 2 target legendary creatures. Wow. So if you fought with them, you can untap them and then they can defend for you. Oh yeah, this is my legendary creature stack. Oh, this is Saruman the White. He's a blue. Ward. Whenever you cast your second spell, this one's all about massing orcs. I'm not building an orc army, so you can just go to the side. And this is where deck building gets hard, and why I can't do this in one video like I thought I could, because I just read what that said, and it was all about if I cast him, I can add orcs, but this is not an orc deck. The orcs are red and black. Even though he's blue, he's not going to go in here, so you have to read every single card. So here's another one. This is Meneldor, Swift Savior. He's up there with Gwahir. He's an eagle. Whenever Meneldor, Swift Savior, deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 1 target creature you own, then return it to the battlefield under your control. Oh, he's kind of fun. See, here's another blue sorcery. Put up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library and amass orcs. It's blue, but it's all about amassing orcs, and I'm not doing orcs in this deck, so I've got to put that to the side. Here's another one. It's an instant, but it's Saruman's Trickery. Saruman's not going to be a part of my deck, so even though it's blue, that's not a part. So that's what I'm going to... Oh, look at that. I said, oh, look at that, and then didn't show it to you. It is Lorien Revealed Sorcery. Draw 3 cards. Island Cycling. Discard this card. Search your library for an island card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. Then shuffle. So it's just scenes out of the movie, and I just love it. That's why I was like, oh, because I know what scene that is. I know what it is in the book, because they went beyond the movies with these. This is all into the lore of the books as well. So you hadn't read the book, some of these cards will mean nothing to you. But this is, I thought I was going to do 1 video today. It's going to end up being 2. I'll finish this tomorrow, because I got other stuff I want to do today. But yeah, we'll actually go through the cards and build the deck tomorrow. And I'm going to put them up in a way that makes sense now that I've done all the separating, so that I can be sure to, do what I said I was going to do and actually build a deck. To those of you who thought I was going to build a deck today, I'll make sure to try to title this in such a way that I'm not a liar. But for the rest of you, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you to finish this deck, hopefully, in the next one.